Hi, this is Mr. Schneider. Today we're going to look at different types of economies. This is podcast 10.2. 10.2. All right. So when we're looking at these economies, the first thing you need to ask is there's three questions that you ask when you're looking at different types of economies. What will be produced? How will it be produced? And for whom will it be produced? So what are you going to make? Who's going to make it? How are they going to make it? And who's going to use it? Love that picture there. So the first type of economy is a traditional economy. In a traditional economy, decisions are based on custom and historical precedent. Think about people that have been farmers for generations, people that work the land. In this type of economy, it's generally, these jobs are going to be passed down from generation to generation. I will also say a lot of times you see these in like third world countries. And generally in a traditional economy, you are making items to help support your family to make sure it survives. Okay? Let's take a look at a clip of people farming in a traditional economy.
Nucky Bite Baby. This tomato will be Heinz ketchup. And this tomato will be Hunt's ketchup.
Tastes like cigarette butts. That's wrong. The outside looks like a tomato, but the inside is brown.
Maybe the tomato seeds crossbred with the tobacco seeds.
Oh, great. I got a field full of mutants.
Gimme, I want more.
I thought you said it tasted terrible.
It does. But it's smooth and mild. And refreshingly addictive.
Addictive, eh?
Tobacco? That's pretty clever, Dad. I mean, for a product that's evil and deadly.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Well, I'm not crazy about the plutonium or nicotine, but it is very nice to see Bart eating his vegetables.
Excuse me, Mr. Farmer Man. I promised my son he could tip over his first cow, and tobacco?
Yes, it's the latest craze. Try some, won't you?
Go ahead, Ralphie. The stranger is offering you a treat.
Oh, Daddy, this tastes like Grandma.
Holy Moses, it does taste like Grandma.
I want more.
Yeah, me too. We'll take a bushel or a pecker. Just give it to me.
Can I interest you in a mincemeat pie? They're very...
Does it have tobacco in it?
No, but I use only the...
Okay. Next type of economy is a free market economy. So in a free market economy, let's talk about this for a second. Private ownership of property and resource. So people own property. People own things like coal mines or oil wells. The government doesn't own it. The main reason you go into business or you have a business is profit. You want to make money. In a free market, there is competition. So, for example, I love hamburgers. So there's many different places I can go to get a hamburger. I can go to Burger King. I can go to McDonald's. I can go to Five Guys. I can go to Bonefish Grill. They have a really good Kobe hamburger. But there's many places you can go to get that hamburger. Again, depending on how much money you have, how much time you have, what you're in the mood for. Consumer sovereignty. That means that the consumer is godlike. God with a small g, not God with a large g. Meaning that decisions that consumers make are going to determine what is made and which companies survive. So, there used to be a electronics store called Circuit City. People would go there, they would buy TVs, whatever. Consumers decided they did not want to go to Circuit City anymore. So Circuit City went out of business. Consumers decided they'd rather do things like buy electronics online or go to Best Buy, which is still around but not doing well. Think along the lines I talked about yesterday in the last podcast about black and white TVs. Consumers decided they don't want to make black and white TVs anymore, don't want to use black and white TVs anymore, so companies stopped making black and white TVs. Consumer is godlike consumer sovereignty. Individual choice. You have choice in what you want to buy. You have choice in what job you want to do. Those choices are left up to you. The government does not tell you what you want to do, what you have to do. And then there's minimal government involvement in the economy. There really is not a true free market economy because almost every country has some level of government involvement in the economy.
To decide how much your electricity bills will rise, I have assembled a team of distinguished economists and placed plausible rate hike percentages on their backs. Now, we will use unfettered free market principles to arrive at a number. Release the hounds. Notice how the Keynesians climb trees while the Austrian school economists hide under rocks. That's fascinating. And there you have it, folks. Rates will rise a healthy 17%.
So Mr. Burns there was deciding how much rates will, usually electronic rates, your rate of how much you pay for electricity, part of it set by the government. There Mr. Burns did not use the government. It was set up without government. All right, so let's look at a command economy. A command economy is a complete 180 from a free market economy. In a command economy, the government owns everything. The government owns property. The government owns resources. The government determines everything that's going to be made, who's going to make it, so they determine what job you're going to do, how it's going to be made, and then who can use it. There's very little consumer choice in a command economy. Command economies usually go with communist countries. So here's a video from inside a grocery store in the Soviet Union back in the late 80s, early 90s. Compare this grocery store with the grocery store that your parents go to.
А сколько стоит аммиак? 74 копейки. Это кукурузные? Да. Нам надо сказать колеса. Ну, давай как-то.
All right, so very little choice. It seems like a very bleak place to shop. Again, in a command economy, it doesn't really matter what the consumer wants. The focus is on the government. So the last type of economy is a mixed economy, and this is what the vast majority of countries are today. Individuals and businesses make decisions for the private sector. So companies and such make decisions for things that help individuals. That's why you have that's the free market economy. But the government is owner and decision for the public sector. So things that affect roads, those are handled by the government. Things like libraries, those are handled by the government. So a decision that's going to affect lots of people, that type of economics is handled by the government. While the government plays a greater role than it does in a free market economy, it plays a smaller role than it would in the command economy. And again, this is what the United States is today. We're close to free market, but we're not a total free market economy. All right, that's podcast 10.2. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.